Hello, everybody. This will be a new series that I'm planning on doing where I will be talking about people's debunks on specific characters and see if they're valid or not. I have found this creator who basically stated that Doey was fodder. So I want to check it out for myself and give my thoughts on it. So this won't be like a debunk to this debunk. It's more accurately gonna be a review on it and pointing out the things I agree with and disagree with. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into the debunk.
First of all, his regeneration. It has limits. After it surpasses the limits, it has errors and it stops working. As we seen in his death scene, it stopped working when we froze him for the 5th time and used a tunnel boring machine TBM on him. We literally see him regenerate from that type of stuff previously in the game in his boss fight. He was frozen and sawed 4 times. First 3 were normal, but the 4th saw wasn't normal. He failed to regenerate from it for a while. XD. It quite literally shows his regeneration is getting weaker and weaker as he uses it. All of this happened in 209 seconds, got this from a normal gameplay video of his boss fight, which is pretty short, so overusage of his regeneration causes him to lose it. No, it's not because of the liquid nitrogen, as we also use liquid nitrogen in those 4 times as well. Some people have claimed it's because he tanks too much nitrogen. And that is completely false. Doey literally tanks liquid nitrogen directly on him on the first 4, while on the 5th one, they're all far away from him. You know what? Watch this clip.
Can't trust anyone!
Notice something? Look at the saturation. This is what hits Doey in those first 4 times, while this is what hits Doey before the TBM hits him. Basically, the liquid nitrogen is too far away from Doey, so it doesn't directly hit. The liquid nitrogen close to Doey isn't even glowing and it's a little bit transparent, just like normal gases. Simply know he didn't tank 6 of them. The amount he tanked is in fact way less than 1 nitrogen cylinder. The liquid nitrogen fades away before reaching and he only gets in contact with a very small amount of it. So again, this proves his regeneration failed in him not taking 6 liquid nitrogen cylinders. I don't know how people even believe this while we literally saw him getting frozen by a single cylinder. XD. Not to mention he kinda gets down a little, which prevents the liquid nitrogen that's not falling down to hit him. So Doey barely tanked it in that scene, although he wasn't fully covered in it and still able to move.
I agree with her when it comes to Doey's regeneration. From what we saw, it does have its limits, but you really need to strain him and need him to be at a angered state where he is tired to actually do that. Anything else is just okay. He can survive mainly anything as long as he isn't strained, aka tired, or hit with the nitrogen. Also, how do you know that it's only just 1 less than a nitrogen tank? How did you even calculate that? Did you just did the calculations? Because I would like to see that. But anyways, continuing the video.
See, Doey literally gets damaged by fire in his boss fight.
Now hold on, Buster. You lost your limit of talking. You literally just ignored the fact that we literally hit him in the eye. Here, I'll show the clip. Now, if you blinked, here is it in slow motion. You really thought we didn't notice, did you? But anyways, as a respectful person, let's get back to the video.
Doey is weak to fire, which is thermal energy, so being made of dough clay doesn't make him immune to physical attacks or gives limited resistance or something similar.
Now, ignoring the fact that he survived fire and it only affected him when we hit him in the eye, Yes, dough and clay can survive fire. So, yeah.
Some people claim he holds it before, but it's his base form which is stronger. Plus Doey wasn't caught on it.
Well, thank goodness that I've proven that he can survive fire in his monster form. So take that.
Doey gets hurt by falling rocks. The fallen debris hurt Doey. We can clearly know this is true since his voice lines literally says, moans and screams in pain, after the debris falls on him. Some are trying to argue it wasn't physical, which is untrue. And I'm going to explain why that is. It happened after the debris fell on Doey. Doey's voice came right after he broke out of it, although it took few seconds, but he OFC won't be screaming consistently while struggling breaking through it, which proves the debris was reducing his voice enough that the player won't be able to hear it.
Correlation doesn't equal causation. You need to provide a causal link to prove your point. All you did was correlate something and say that it was because of something else, even though it's more likely that since he's literally suffering through.
Only the pillar Doey destroyed was in fine condition, the ceiling and roof wasn't visible, but we can know they were weakened AF, since only the pillar and some part of the floor was left decent, only because of the plot, to be honest. Doey off-guarded Pianosaurus, preventing him from directly attacking Doey. Pianosaurus' arms and stuff are pretty short, he won't be able to use them if someone has off-guarded him. Doey didn't even fight him directly, he literally smashed him against walls, floor, and parts that hit the walls were literally head and stuff, already a huge disadvantage for him. Pianosaurus's kinetic energy also helped decently in this process. Doey simply just weakened his structure before eating him. Pianosaurus's neck is also weirdly flexible, which means its internal structure is quite weak, exactly what hit the walls and floor. It's just what we saw in the games. Now let's go into the books. Yes, there's a Pianosaurus comic now. In it, Pianosaurus is shown to crush a safe haven mini Hoppy Hopscotch and 3 nightmare critters at once. Well, I'm not saying Pianosaurus beats Doey, I'm just saying it's closer than you think. Via this comic, it's also implied Pianosaurus is extremely heavy and his main power is to crush his victims, one of the things he couldn't do against Doey. In a fight, Prime Stalker would high diff Pianosaurus, while...
Now, this is the part I actually agree with. There is a lot of evidence saying it, and the comic does imply of a physical strength thing, and he did off-guarded him. There isn't really anything to say about this. He didn't outright stated that Pianosaurus would slam Doey. I'm glad that he didn't. I really like the fact that he did say that a fight between them would be somewhat close. So, yeah, that's my take when it comes to that.
Another thing I wanna mention, someone claimed Doey scales to city level via Poppy's plan of destroying the factory. It says Doey would do it himself, that's just insane to think. Let me show a clip.
So, if we're going to free them and stop the prototype, we need to plan for both at the same time. The red smoke he redirected from Playcare? It's an accelerant. All it needs is high pressure and a little spark, and it ignites. The plan is this. We'll fill the foundation with smoke and line it with old mining charges. Then once you, me, and Kissy have freed the orphans, our friends here will blow this place sky high. That's our revenge.
It's clearly stated how they'll do it. Doey agreeing to the plan doesn't mean he's doing with his own power.
I actually agree with her when it comes to this. I do think Doey
I'm not gonna use my new experiment argument for him. Why?
Strong,
It's because he's a failed
but I
experiment.
don't
I have
think
reasons.
he's
Doey
weak
can't control himself
because
as we
of
seen in
this.
his boss fight.
I would just have to say this
Doey
feat
crashes
doesn't
out.
have anything
Kevin's
to do
personality
with
causes him to go against the player. He misunderstood him, it's even stated. He was literally made with 3 people: Jack, Kevin and Matthew. Jackie literally fell into dough. That's like saying food isn't bad if there's an extra spoon of salt. Wild example lol, like it's extra and not failed. Extra is not always good, especially when it's something in experiments. While it's stated in VHS tape chapter 4 by Scientist 4, that they can't allow any single of Doey's consciousness to throw the others off. Because if it did, they can have 900 pounds of dough that can shapeshift and go against the ones he trusts. Just because of a stray feeling, we literally see this happening to us in-game lol. While being the first experiment that can regenerate himself this quickly, doesn't matter what injury, shapeshift its body into anything, has 3 consciousness, proves he's like the most complicated experiment. Also Doey. I'll link the clip in the description. So he can't even decide what personality he'll use, it'll just matter on like how he crashed out. And Kevin started controlling him mainly.
Okay, so I agree with her the fact that Doey is a failed experiment. All of the things that a failed experiment is what Doey acts. But here's the smallest little detail. What's your proof saying that a failed experiment is automatically weaker than a successful one? You don't. Just because you're called a failed experiment, that doesn't automatically mean you are weaker than the successful one. In the context of Poppy Playtime, a successful experiment just means that you are mentally capable of holding back, thinking for yourself, and actually obeying orders. Unlike some other experiments who would be considered failed because they can't control themselves and will lash out. So, being a failed experiment just means mental power, not physical power.
Form being weaker, it's never implied he's stronger than normal Doey. It's literally a crash out. What makes him stronger? Size. Appearance. Well, I might have just agreed that he'll be above base because of it, which isn't the case. First, base Doey endures fire, Stalker Doey can't. Second, base Doey takes a way shorter time to. Stalker's mass isn't increased, it's just extended and filled up in a larger area. As it's the same body with shapeshift like Doe, does the weight change if the Doe molts into something else if the amount is the same? No, it just means Stalker Doey is softer. We shouldn't forget that it's literally just him crashing out. Although he's also uncontrollable unlike base Doey, as Matthew, Jack and Kevin are controlling at the same time, mainly Kevin though. And Doey would just upscale the feats his Stalker form has Showa, via this XD.
Apart from the fact that he can take fire, I have to agree with the idea that his base is stronger than his monster form, since it is a crash out and it just outstretches him, making him more easy to tear apart and, all that other stuff, because he's just outstretched. But yeah, that's my opinion on this part of the video.
Guess what? He's scared of Yarnaby. Both Pianosaurus and Yarnaby attack the player, but Doey only kills Pianosaurus. But why? Both did the same thing. Lol, he literally avoids to face Yarnaby. He backtracks his arm quickly like he'll not get attacked XD. Doey clearly shows he's afraid and doesn't want to get noticed by Yarnaby. Straight up fear. Doey was in Matthew's personality, because he wanted to help us. He was trying to guild instead of taking down Yarnaby like he did with Pianosaurus. It's even stated in the VHS tapes, a reminder, by Doey, that he is scared and ran away but only came back for the safe haven members, because they were his family. Before someone says B, but the doctor knew Doey's weakness and Yarnaby is his favorite pet. The doctor did not cared about Yarnaby, he literally just said, poor Yarnaby, he doesn't have emotions now, so he'll not care even if Yarnaby dies, as he wasn't bothered when Yarnaby turned to ashes.
Okay, you want a reason why Doey didn't do anything? The reason why he didn't do anything is because of plot. One is our introduction to Doey, and the other is a chase scene. And it wouldn't be fun if somebody interrupted the chase scene. That would remove all the suspense. So yeah, the reason why he didn't do anything is because of plot and gameplay. But I'm glad that you didn't just use that as your evidence and actually brought in an in-lore statement from a VHS tape. I'm glad that you grabbed that. And as for the doctor not having a personality, yes, he does. He does have a personality. Have you not seen the doctor Q&A? Sure, the Q&A itself isn't canon, but the questions answered by the doctor are canon and should be used. And guess what? He had a personality in that Q&A. So yeah, he does have a personality. And the fact that he literally said, poor Yarnaby, my favorite pet, proves that he does, in fact, have a personality.
So Doey is below Yarnaby, who is confirmed to be a failed experiment. consistently weaker than the other three main antagonists, Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Long Legs and Catnap.
Again, my only question is that what is your evidence for a failed experiment being weaker? You say Yarnaby is weaker than all those characters, but what is your evidence or proof that he is? From what we saw in the game, he has shown not anything showing that he is weaker or superior to those experiments. Like, you really just need to just show that. And there are 3 reasons why he didn't do anything to help the player. 1, he's 3 kids, and last time I checked, kids would be afraid if this Yarnaby thing was real. 2, it is because he doesn't want his arm to get ripped off, and that he put himself in a position where his arms could get ripped off, and just his arms. If he was physically there, I would see it being very different. And thirdly, it's because of gameplay and lore. It's just because of the gameplay, and if it didn't happen, it wouldn't be as suspenseful. So, yeah, those are the 3 reasons why he didn't do anything during that whole scene.
Doey did not fight the prototype, he distracted him in Poppy states.
You need to distract him, Doey!
Before someone says prototype is not dumb enough to be distracted, he reveals at the end of chapter 4 that he was Ollie, since a really long time. And he knows about Poppy's plan, so even if they fought they didn't, or he got distracted, it was all part of his plan. So he gets negged by the prototype so badly he even acted like he fears the prototype. When Doey meets you after you defeat the doctor, he says he lost prototype's track, which doesn't justify the argument. It doesn't mean Doey was chasing him or something. It needs context. It's also contracted by being below Yarnaby. Doey has a horrible narrative, besides being superior to nightmare critters and mini huggies. Doey is the leader and protector of Safe Haven, which upscales him above them. Being the protector leader doesn't automatically means you're the strongest in the group or whatever. It means providing safety to others, also gilding and bringing up resources. In the VHS tapes it has been stated Doey came back for the others, Haven critters, passive mini huggies and etc. He even mentions them being hungry and scared. Not to mention Doey was scared himself. Kissy Missy was mainly fighting for them, as we see in the safe drawing. She's like the main there. To support my previous point of Doey mostly bringing them food instead of fighting for them is even stated in the VHS tapes. Hoppy Hopscotch Bigger Body 1, he literally goes to look for food. Lastly,
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so here's each take. You can destroy this entire argument just by saying one question. Why did Doey had to go and distract the prototype if he's indeed weaker than everybody else? So that's my only question. Why did Poppy send Doey to distract the prototype and not Kissy? Well, it's not like she can't do anything. Like, we could clearly see that Huggy can still fight, and we could clearly see that Kissy can at least damage the prototype. So why did Poppy send Doey? It's probably because he is at least on par, if not stronger, than Kissy. So, yeah. That's my argument against this whole scene. So, overall, what did I think about this video? Well, I think it was done pretty okay, but overall, it wasn't that good. She didn't even do any of the effort to at least give us any reasoning on her behalf, and she didn't even take a closer look at the clips she's shown and just assume something. So this video would get a 7.2 out of 10. It's okay, but not the best Debunk. But anyways, don't send any hate to this creator, and I'll see you next time.